Tomorrow, March 8th, something is about to shift in your love life that you've been waiting for, possibly for years, and most people won't even notice it's happening. While everyone's scrolling, distracted, caught up in the noise, the universe is about to deliver something profound, a cosmic payback, a settlement of karmic debts, the arrival of the serious, unshakable love you've actually earned through all that shadow work, all those boundaries you set, all those toxic situations you finally walked away from. This isn't just another planetary alignment. This is Venus, the planet of love, relationships, and self-worth, locking into an exact conjunction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, the cosmic accountant who ensures the energetic books always balance. And when these two planets meet at Oro 2-38 Aries tomorrow at 9:39 AM GMT, something clicks into place. The chase ends, the ambiguity dissolves, the what are we conversations reach their conclusion, because Saturn doesn't do maybes, Saturn doesn't do situationships, Saturn demands clarity, commitment, and absolute reality. And if you've been feeling like something's been building in your relationships, a strange heaviness, an inexplicable knowing that a decision is coming, keep watching. Because there's one specific reason why this energy has been affecting you for days already, and I'll explain exactly what it is and what you need to do about it later in this video. So stay tuned. But first, you need to understand what's happening right now at this very moment before the exact alignment even occurs. The energy has already started and you've been feeling it. Here's what most people don't realize. The exact conjunction happens tomorrow, but the energy, it's been building for days. You're already inside it. That weird tension in your chest, that sudden clarity about who's really there for you and who isn't. That feeling like you can't keep pretending anymore, like the masks are cracking and the truth is demanding to be seen. This is Saturn's influence pressing in, and if you're someone who's spiritually attuned, if you're someone who feels energy before it peaks, you've probably already noticed something shifting in your relationships. Maybe conversations feel heavier, maybe you're suddenly seeing people's intentions with crystal clarity. Maybe that relationship you've been unsure about, the one where you kept making excuses, kept hoping they'd change, suddenly feels impossible to maintain. Or maybe on the flip side, the relationship that's been solid, the one built on actual respect and mutual effort, suddenly feels like it's about to level up in a major way. This is the Venus-Saturn energy. It's a truth serum for the heart, and tomorrow, when the alignment becomes exact, there's no more hiding, no more pretending, no more half-commitments. The universe is about to separate the real from the fake. And if you've done the work, if you've set boundaries, if you've stopped accepting crumbs, if you've walked away from what didn't serve you, you're about to be rewarded in ways you didn't even know were possible. But before we get to that, you need to know what happened just yesterday, because what Venus experienced 24 hours ago is the key to understanding why tomorrow hits so differently. Yesterday, Venus met Neptune, and you fell under a spell. March 7th, yesterday, did you feel it? That sudden surge of romantic idealism, that wave of hope, that flutter in your chest, that moment where someone suddenly seemed like everything you've ever wanted. Venus conjunct Neptune, the ultimate fantasy, the cosmic rose-colored glasses, and in Aries, the sign of impulsive action and instant attraction, this energy hit hard. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. It takes ordinary human love and elevates it to something divine, something transcendent, something that feels like a fairy tale. When these two planets merge, boundaries dissolve, reality blurs. You see not who the person is, but who you want them to be. You project your deepest longings, your unmet spiritual needs, your vision of perfect love onto another human being. And for a brief, intoxicating moment, it feels real. It feels like destiny. It feels like you've finally found your person. But here's the brutal truth. Neptune is also the planet of illusions, mirages, and beautiful lies. What you saw yesterday might not have been real. It might have been a projection, a fantasy, a glimpse of potential that was never going to materialize. And this is where the cosmic timing becomes absolutely brilliant, because less than 28 hours after Venus conjunct Neptune, after the dream, after the spell, after the intoxicating vision of what love could be, Saturn arrives. Saturn is the antidote to Neptune's illusion. Saturn is the harsh morning light after a night of beautiful dreams. Saturn looks at that fantasy and asks one simple, devastating question. Can you actually build this? Can this survive in the real world? Or is this just another escape? Tomorrow, Saturn shows you what's real. When Venus meets Saturn tomorrow, the fog lifts, the rose-colored glasses shatter, and what remains, what's still standing after Saturn's ruthless reality check, that's what's actually worth keeping. This isn't romantic. This isn't the stuff of love songs or movie moments. This is love as architecture, love as commitment, love as the decision to show up day after day, even when the excitement fades and all that's left is the choice to stay. Saturn doesn't care about butterflies. Saturn doesn't care about chemistry or spark or that electric feeling when they walk into the room. Saturn cares about one thing. Can you build something that lasts? And here's where it gets intense, because Saturn operates in two distinct ways during this alignment, and which one you experience depends entirely on the foundation of your relationship. For some people, Saturn will arrive tomorrow as the grim reaper of frivolous, unequal, or toxic connections. If you've been in a relationship that's been coasting on potential, if you've been carrying the emotional weight while they offer nothing but excuses, if you've been ignoring fundamental incompatibilities because you didn't want to be alone, Saturn will erect an impassable wall. The flaws become undeniable. The red flags you rationalized away become impossible to ignore. The fundamental lack of respect, the emotional unavailability, the one-sided effort, it all rises to the surface, and suddenly you can't unsee it. This is Saturn's mercy. It removes what would have drained you for years. It forces the ending that needed to happen so you can finally move forward. But for relationships that are structurally sound, for partnerships built on mutual respect, consistent effort, and genuine compatibility, Saturn arrives as the supportive stake driven deep into the earth beside a growing tree. It provides the necessary friction, the container, the structure that allows real maturity. Saturn rewards loyalty. Saturn rewards consistency. Saturn rewards the hard work of showing up, of communicating through difficulty, of choosing each other even when it's not easy. And if you're in this second category, if you've been building something real, something solid, tomorrow might be the day it becomes official. The day the conversation happens. The day the commitment solidifies. The day what was implicit becomes explicit. Because Venus-Saturn conjunctions don't do casual. They don't do let's see where this goes. They do forever or nothing. The end of relational ambiguity. Aries is a sign that demands immediate action. There's no patience for subtlety, no tolerance for grey areas. When Saturn operates in Aries, it forces clear, unequivocal choices. The week surrounding tomorrow is characterized by an abrupt, undeniable end to relational ambiguity. If you've been in that weird in-between space, where you're not quite together but not quite apart, where the labels are vague and the future is uncertain, that space is about to collapse. Your nervous system, which may have been surviving on the comfort of keeping options open, of not fully committing, of avoiding the vulnerability of a real yes or a real no, it's about to be confronted with a stark reality. The time for weighing options, for playing the field, for avoiding the conversation has officially expired. A choice must be made now. And this decisiveness can feel incredibly heavy, not necessarily out of sadness, but out of absolute grounding sobriety. Choosing one specific romantic path inherently means grieving the loss of all alternate possibilities. It means accepting that this is real, that this has weight, that this requires responsibility. Saturn asks a single piercing question. Do you want this enough to build it, maintain it, and take responsibility for it? If the answer is anything less than a resounding yes, the structure will not hold, and Saturn won't waste time on foundations built on sand. Remember when I said there's a reason you've been feeling this for days? This is it. Your body already knows. Your intuition already knows. You've been feeling the weight of this decision approaching because energetically, it's already here. Maybe you've been restless. Maybe you've been having vivid dreams about commitment or endings. Maybe you've caught yourself staring into space, running through scenarios, trying to figure out what you actually want. This isn't anxiety. This isn't overthinking. This is your soul preparing for a threshold moment. This is your higher self getting ready to make a choice that will define the next chapter of your life. And the most important thing you can do right now, today, tonight, before the exact alignment tomorrow, is get honest with yourself. Brutally honest. Not about what you think you should want, not about what would look good or make sense or please other people, but about what you actually want, what you're actually willing to build, what you're actually ready to commit to. Because tomorrow, the universe will ask, and you won't be able to hide behind maybes anymore. This is karmic payback, but only if you did the work. Here's where this gets really profound. This Venus-Saturn conjunction isn't happening in isolation. It's the culmination of a specific karmic cycle that began over a year ago. From March 1 to April 12, 2025, Venus underwent a rigorous retrograde cycle, transiting primarily through Aries. That 40-day period was brutal for many people. It forced a collective, often agonizing re-evaluation of relationship dynamics, personal boundaries, and inherent self-worth. You were challenged to unlearn toxic relationship conditioning, to confront deep-seated fears of abandonment, to recognize where you'd been compromising your personal sovereignty just to avoid being alone. The 2025 retrograde was a deep, subterranean excavation of the heart. It required you to act as your own spiritual warrior, to set boundaries that felt uncomfortable, to walk away from situations that were draining you, to stop accepting less than you deserved. And if you did that work, if you actually made those difficult choices, if you actually honored yourself, tomorrow's Venus-Saturn conjunction is your karmic payback. Saturn is the lord of karma. It operates as the universal accountant, ensuring that the energetic books balance perfectly over time. For those who bravely navigated the painful shadow work of 2025, who established firm boundaries, who walked away from abusive or chronically unfulfilling dynamics, who learned to validate themselves without external approval, Saturn now delivers the reward. This is the essence of earned love. The universe pays you back for your discipline and self-respect. And this is crucial, if you didn't do the work, if you stayed in toxic situations, if you kept accepting crumbs, if you continued to abandon yourself for the sake of connection, tomorrow will feel very different. Saturn doesn't reward complacency. Saturn doesn't reward self-abandonment. And if you've been avoiding the necessary endings, avoiding the difficult conversations, avoiding the truth about what you actually deserve, Saturn will force the issue. Either way, tomorrow is a reckoning. The question is, which side of it are you on? 3 signs receive the ultimate reward. While this Venus-Saturn conjunction will impact everyone to some degree, there are 3 zodiac archetypes that are about to experience this energy on a completely different level. 3 signs that are standing directly in the cosmic crosshairs, about to receive the karmic commitment they've earned: Aries, Capricorn, Pisces. If you're one of these 3, if you have your sun, moon, or rising in any of these signs, pay very close attention, because what's about to happen in your love life isn't subtle. It's structural, it's permanent, it's life-altering. Aries, the return of the fated partner. For Aries, this conjunction is happening directly in your first house, the house of self, identity, and physical body. This is your personal territory, your domain. And when Venus and Saturn meet here, they're not just affecting your relationships, they're redefining who you are. For years, you've been oscillating between extremes, intense, fast-paced romances followed by fierce periods of defensive isolation. You've been exploring the edges of your independence, testing how far you can go alone, how much you can handle without needing anyone. And now, Saturn enters your sign for the first time in nearly 30 years. This is a massive, unavoidable maturation process that will redefine your life for the next 2.5 years. With Venus joining Saturn in your first house tomorrow, you're receiving the ultimate reality check regarding your self-worth, how you see yourself, how you present yourself, how you project your value into the world. The karmic payback for Aries involves the highly fated return of a significant partner from the past or the sudden serious elevation of a current relationship to an unprecedented level of commitment. But this isn't a chaotic, dramatic reconciliation. This is a calm arrival at absolute emotional closure or a renewed, sober commitment based on newly defined, non-negotiable boundaries. You're being asked to step out of the archetype of the impulsive, restless conqueror and mature into the role of the steadfast protector. The universe is rewarding your past acts of selflessness, the quiet emotional battles you fought behind closed doors. If you did the shadow work, if you tamed your inner saboteur, if you learned to regulate your impulses, this conjunction anchors a love that matches your fire, but finally provides the grounding stability you secretly crave, but rarely admit to needing. Capricorn, opening the vault of the heart. Capricorn, you're ruled by Saturn. Any major Saturnian transit is exceptionally potent for you, and this one is asking you to do something that terrifies you. Be vulnerable. As Saturn transits Aries, it's moving through your fourth house, the house of home, family, emotional foundation, and Venus governs your fifth house of romance and your 10th house of public status. For you, the karmic payback of tomorrow centers entirely on the mastery of emotional vulnerability. Historically, you've kept love at a safe, strategic distance. You've prioritized duty, career, self-protection over raw emotional exposure. The 2025 Venus retrograde challenged these stoic defense mechanisms. It forced you to confront the acute loneliness inherent in maintaining an overly guarded heart. And tomorrow's conjunction is the master key turning in a heavy lock. The universe is gently but forcefully nudging you to open your heart. Not recklessly, but fully, without reservation. Because your ruling planet Saturn is involved, the love offered during this transit feels inherently safe. It's structured, predictable, emotionally mature, deeply responsible. This is a love you can actually trust enough to let in. A relationship that begins, returns, or solidifies under this fourth house influence is highly likely to lead to permanent cohabitation, property investment, the purchase of a family home, or the harmonious blending of families. Financially, this period represents a banner moment for you. Business owners, real estate investors, those who have labored diligently and thanklessly for years, you will suddenly see massive, tangible karmic payoffs. The discipline you exerted in the dark, away from public applause, is finally rewarded with solid, unshakable generational wealth. Pisces, the boundary between sacrifice and sovereignty. Pisces, you've been through it. Since March 2023, both Saturn and Neptune have been heavily transiting your sign, subjecting you to an exhausting, multi-year period of heavy responsibility, identity dissolution, deep karmic testing, and emotional fatigue. But now, both of these heavy outer planets have officially moved out of your sign and into Aries, your second house of personal values, earned income, self-esteem, and material possessions. The crushing psychological pressure lifts entirely, and the tangible rewards begin to materialize. The Venus-Saturn conjunction in your second house brings absolute, crystalline clarity to your romantic and financial world. The central karmic lesson you've been forced to master over the past 3 years is understanding the definitive line between noble spiritual sacrifice and damaging lack of self-respect. In the past, you may have repeatedly given your love, resources, and energy unconditionally to partners or employers who drained you dry or offered nothing of substance in return. Tomorrow's alignment serves to pay you back, with interest, for every tear shed and every sacrifice made. The earned love you receive now is rigidly anchored in mutual respect, equal energetic exchange, and tangible, provable value. Spiritual or romantic unions can still deepen significantly under this transit, but strictly on the condition that both partners are equally invested and carrying their own weight. Furthermore, a long-standing, painful karmic loop in finances finally closes permanently. If you lent money, lost resources, or were financially exploited or undervalued in the past, Saturn operates as the cosmic judge, enforcing restitution and balancing the scales. New, highly lucrative career opportunities appear that align perfectly with your newly elevated, impenetrable sense of self-worth. What you must do tonight. Tomorrow is the alignment, tomorrow is the reckoning, but tonight is your preparation window. Here's what you need to do. Get quiet, get honest, get clear. Sit with yourself, no distractions, no phone, no music, just you and your thoughts, and ask yourself these questions. What do I actually want? Not what I think I should want, not what would make sense, not what other people expect. What do I actually want? Am I in a relationship that's built on reality or fantasy? Have I been ignoring red flags because I didn't want to be alone? Or have I been building something real, something solid, something that can actually withstand Saturn's scrutiny? What boundaries do I need to set? What conversations have I been avoiding? What truths have I been too scared to speak? Because tomorrow, the universe will ask, and if you're not clear on your answers, you'll get swept up in the energy and make decisions from fear instead of clarity. Tonight is your chance to get ahead of it, to choose consciously instead of reactively, to step into tomorrow with intention instead of confusion. The serious love you've earned. After years or lifetimes of chasing chaotic, anxiety-inducing romances, the highs and lows, the uncertainty, the drama, the solid predictability of a Saturnian commitment feels like a profound, physical relief. This isn't the love that makes your heart race. This is the love that makes your nervous system relax. This is the love where you don't have to guess, where you don't have to perform, where you don't have to constantly prove your worth. This is the love that shows up, that does what it says it will do, that keeps its promises, that shares the mundane burdens without complaint. This is the love that's boring in the best possible way. Boring because it's stable, boring because it's predictable, boring because there's no drama, no games, no second guessing. And if you've done the work, if you've healed your attachment wounds, if you've learned to value yourself, if you've walked away from what didn't serve you, this is the love that's about to arrive. Or this is the moment your existing relationship transforms into something permanent, something unshakable, something that finally feels like home. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.